Hello, I'm Nana Salah, and this is part 5 of the Java series where I explain Java programming step by step so you can navigate it with ease. This video will be all about operands, operators, and how we can build operations by connecting them. An operator is a special symbol which allows an operation to be performed. An operand is the variable or expression which the operator acts on to perform this operation. We have many types of operators, including arithmetic operators, logical operators, and relational operators. There are more, but for now we'll be focusing on these three. An example of operands could be the variables x and y. Let's assign values of 2 and 3 to them respectively. Arithmetic operations are the most basic operations. These involve 2 or more operands along with 1 or more operator. The arithmetic operators are plus for addition, minus for subtraction, asterisk for multiplication, and finally slash for division. By the way, this is a comment. A comment is basically a statement which does nothing to the code when it runs, but it adds notes or instructions for the person viewing the code. To write a single line comment, you have to write a double slash. This will allow you to write a comment on one single line. So when you hit enter, it will continue the code as it is supposed to. To write a comment on multiple lines, what you have to do is to write slash, asterisk, and then write your comment within those asterisks. Let's declare another variable z. As an example of addition, we'll assign its value to be x plus y. If we decide to print it, we'll type in the function system.out.println and then, in between the brackets, z. After hitting run, as you can see, the output shown in the terminal is 5. This means that the value of z is 5. To make the statement in the terminal more clear to the user, you can write, in between the brackets, the value of z is, in between quotations, plus z. What this plus right here does is it concatenated the string of the value of z is and the value of z itself. Running the program, we can tell that it has now displayed what we have inputted into the system.out.println. The value of z is 5. It works the exact same way for subtraction, multiplication, and division. Note that the computer runs on the mathematical order of BIMDAS, which is brackets, indices, or exponents as some people like to call it, multiplication, division, addition, and then lastly, subtraction. Let's now talk about relational operators. We will be using these in the future mostly with if statements, and their outputs are always Boolean. Relational operators are equals equals, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and not equal to. For instance, we have the original x and y. If we write system.out.println and then x is greater than y, it will not print 2 is greater than 3 because, as I said, it will give a Boolean result. Think about it. Is x with a value of 2 really greater than y with a value of 3? Absolutely not. So if we run the program, we will find that the terminal has displayed false, a Boolean result. If we switch it, however, we will find that the output is true. This is what we call a logical statement. We're asking the computer to check whether this statement is correct or not. Another example is if we say system.out.println and x is not equal to y, and then print the output, you will see that true has been displayed. This is because 2 is really not equal to 3. When we talk about the exclamation mark in general, it means not. So practically, all it does is perform the opposite of the operation coming after it. All the rest of the relational operators work in the same way. The last type of operators we'll be talking about in this video is logical operators. Logical operators are only used in if statements if we want them to be really useful. These are and, or, circumflex, and the exclamation mark. We have already discussed the exclamation mark in the previous section. It simply means not. If a statement is true, the output will be false and vice versa. Let's look at an example. Inside the print function system.out.println, let's put exclamation mark and then in between two brackets, x equals y. Now, inside those brackets, the solution or the Boolean result is going to be false. The opposite of false is true. So this is what the exclamation mark does. So if we run the code, the output will be true. However, the rest of the logical operators function in the same mechanism. They compare between two or more statements, so you have to conclude that there are two statements being operated on or more, and each statement is an operand. When it comes to or, it needs one of the statements to be true in order for it to consider it correct. The only way or displays false is if both statements are false. Just like so, inside the print function, let's write, in between brackets, x is not equal to y, or, and then in between another pair of brackets, let's put y is greater than 1. So in this case, both are true. Nevertheless, if we change this first statement to be false, so if I write x equals y, this is going to be false and this is going to be true. The output will still be, as we can tell in the terminal, true. The only way the or statement, as I've said, is going to output false is if both are false. So if I say y is less than 1, and works a little differently. It checks whether all the statements are true before submitting the Boolean result. So if one is true and the other is false, it will display false, as it needs both statements to be true. So the only way the and is going to output true is if both statements are true. Let's look at an example. Inside the print function, let's write x equals y and y is less than 1. Now in this case, both are false, so the output should be false, just like you can tell here in the terminal. One thing about the and is if the first statement is false, it will not allow the compiler to move on to the second statement. Just like so, if I say x is equal to y and y is greater than 1, the output is supposed to be false, even if we switch them. But if the first statement is false, the and will not allow the compiler to move forward. And is a bit complicated. It operates like the and, but then it continues and checks the second condition regardless, just like the or. So inside the system.out.print function, we're going to write x does not equal to y and x is less than y. Now this is true. So the first one will be true. This and will allow the compiler to move forward regardless if it was false or true. And this is true, so the output in the terminal should be true. Just like so. The circumflex is the stubborn younger sibling of the logical operators. I know it sounds odd, but you'll understand once I explain how it works. The circumflex checks if the conditions are correct. To output true, it needs one statement to be true and the other to be false, no matter the order. If the two conditions are the same Boolean result, so false, false, or true, true, the overall result will be false. Do you now see why I called it the stubborn younger sibling? It needs the two conditions to have opposite results, as in to be in disagreement. Here's an example. System.out.println, and then let's say x is greater than y, circumflex, and then in between another set of brackets, let's write x does not equal to y. Now this one is false, this one is true. So the output should be true. If I make both of them true, so let's make this less than y, we're going to see that it's going to output false. This marks the end of our tutorial. So if you've benefited, leave a like, subscribe, and don't forget to share this video with those who might also benefit from it. If you have a question, feel free to comment it down below and I'll be more than glad to help. Thank you for watching.